and welcome to the Celebration Space. My name is Kaylee Phelps, and today we are talking about creating and getting back into routines. This is very topical for my life as I just got back from a week back home with family in Michigan, which is really wonderful. And now I am unpacking and seeing my two cats for the first time, who are all cuddly and want to love up, and trying to get things done. So it is something that I have done over and over again. I don't know if anyone else has had a New Year's resolution or tried to do different things where they have fallen off the wagon and they really want to get back on. So I'm going to share some of the things that have really helped me out, and I'm going to start with giving yourself some grace. So by giving yourself some grace and setting a solid foundation for creating those habits and routines, you're really going to be able to set yourself up for success. So for me today, that looked like last night going to bed really early, this morning sleeping in, and today I'm really not going to get back into my normal routine until probably tomorrow morning, just because I'm going to be, oh, here's Dolly, she's saying hello. But yeah, so I'm probably not going to get back into my routine until tomorrow morning, just because today I'm going to be spending a lot of time getting my home back to where it normally is, setting up some of my grocery list, spending some good quality time with the girls, and taking time to get caught up. So really what that means is I feel like you can't move forward until you've caught up. So I'm gonna be working on my email a little bit. I'm gonna be working on my home a little bit. I'm gonna be making sure that I feel physically better as well, in terms of how I have slept, how I've fueled my body. I have my chai tea this morning and I'm feeling really good about that. And then I think the next thing is really just figuring out what you want your habits and routines to look like, and maybe when you want to do them and in what order. So I'm gonna go back to a resource that I've suggested in the past with getting set up for your week, and it is the wonderful Show Up and Shine planner. And what I really love about this is that in the very beginning of it, it has designed the week. So it's gonna show you every single day across a bunch of time frames, so that you can really lay out what you want your week to look like, your ideal week to look like. And then maybe even more importantly, on the next page, it talks about your daily rituals. So you can lay out your morning and your evening rituals. I have done this a number of times. I am admittedly not a morning person, so I have tried a bunch of different techniques and figured out what I want to do in the morning, what is easier for me to do in the evening. And so I know for me, I don't go to sleep on a mess. I would rather stay up later and take care of things. And then in the morning, I wake up and I do some more of my wellness routine, in terms of I'll drink some warm lemon water, and I'll, really wash my face, do an oil pull, do a dry brush, different things like that. And I also know, just based on trial and error in doing different things, I know I want to make my bed, and I know that I want to feed the cats and give Dolly, especially since she sheds all the time, brush her out. So normally I'll wake up, open the blinds, start some of my morning routine, but I won't get to make the bed because Dolly's usually snuggled in there until after I open up the door to give her some treats and brush her out, and then I'll be able to go and make the bed. So there's certain tricks and things that you'll figure out the best way to organize your routines in terms of habit stacking, and just figuring out in which order you're going to be able to do things the most efficiently. So and that's going to be a little bit of trial and error. That has taken me a minute to figure out how long each thing takes. I ideally would meditate for a full half hour every morning. That normally does not happen. So I have resigned myself to 15 minutes is enough. Same with 15 minutes of yoga. Would I love to do a half hour, full hour of yoga in the morning? Yes, but really figuring out what's gonna work for you to set up your day, and when you can wake up, and what that all is going to look like. Now, once you have all of that planning and organization figured out, you can start to implement some different techniques. So for me, when I was working in the nonprofit event fundraising world, at every event that I had to send text messages at different points throughout the evening. So I always set alarms on my phone with a little reminder on it saying, send the 30-minute warning text message, and I would always set it 2 or 3 minutes before I actually had to send it. That way I received that cue, it gave me enough time to boogie across a ballroom or stop talking with a guest or my client and just say, hey, excuse me, my alarm just went off. I have to get prepared to send this text message. So then I would be able to have time to go over, I already had my drafts all taken care of, prepare it, and send it out right on time. So for me, I really took that technique of using my alarms on my phone to use that across a lot of my life. So I did that in terms of a lot of times I would forget to check the mail, and I would set an alarm for, 5:45 when I got home and I could drop off my items, and then I created the habit of every day at 5:45 I would go check my mail and take a little walk. So whenever I got that cue, I knew that it was time for me to go do something. So I've done that repeatedly with my morning routine just because I think that's a really good way for me personally to receive a cue and then know what the next thing is. If you have trouble with organizing maybe or doing a tidy, you could even set an alarm for begin your evening tidy and then set a second alarm for 5 or 10 minutes later and say, all right, you're all set, and whatever you get done in that 5 or 10 minutes, you get done, and whatever, it can just start to create that habit and routine for you. I like to do mine with emojis. So my morning, I usually have my alarm clock in the morning, so I have my little charging station that's out in the kitchen counter, but I'll have my alarm in the morning, and then if I'm laying in bed like I normally do, then I'll be able to hear my phone go off in the morning and go over there, and that really gets me up and out of bed. And then I'll have something like, someone brushing their teeth or a toothbrush or a tooth, and then I'll go to the bathroom and just have, little reminders and icons that pop up. You can change the different alarm sounds for your alarms as they go off. But yeah, so I think that's a really great way to do it. If you are working in an office environment and maybe you keep forgetting to take your lunch, or you keep forgetting to schedule out time, you end up staying late. I used to do this all the time at the office because you don't, take time at the end of your day. I will habitually get caught up in a project and then just keep going on the project to lose track of time, and then wow, it's already 5 p.m. and now I want to go back to my email and wrap that up for the day. Sorry, there's a very loud blower going on outside. But so I would normally, when I came into the office in the morning, set a block of my calendar for checking my email. I would always block off my lunch so that I remembered that, and then I would always block off about a half hour to get organized for the next day, check my email, get caught up on that before going in the next day, just so that you're blocking off your calendar. No one will set appointments during those times. It'll show you as busy. So that helps to be able to organize that for you and create those habits and routines so that if perhaps you do want to remove those calendar reminders, you are already in the habit and the routine, much like the alarms, where it has already been ingrained in your mental state. So normally it takes about 21 days to create a habit. So if you can have those alarms, have those calendar reminders, and then taper them off after 21 days, they should stay pretty ingrained in your psyche. So alarms, calendar, I also will set calendar reminders just for silly things sometimes, like if I have to do something each week, like a reach out or get a report from something, setting calendar reminders will just be really helpful for that so that you don't constantly have something that's just looming on your to-do list. You can just check it off each week. Then the other thing that I have done is setting up cues to try to make it easier to do the thing that I want to do. and it would be harder to not do it. So an example is if I write on my mirror the 5 things that I want to get done in the bathroom every morning. So for years, I didn't realize that you were supposed to have, wash your face with a cleanser and then, have serums and all these different things. I really just wash my face with soap and water and then put on moisturizer. So if I am getting into a routine, I might write in my mirror, like, wash your face with your cleanser, put on your sunscreen, then put on your moisturizer, X, Y, and Z. So that'll make it hard for you to ignore what is there. And even something I will do is set out all of the bottles or set out my toothbrush with toothpaste on it or with the toothpaste next to it so that it is harder for me to put those things away and ignore it. Same with flossing. I had to do this a lot with flossing where I would only usually floss 2 to 3 times a week to be able to floss every single day. When I'm getting out my toothbrush, I keep my floss right next to my toothbrush and I get it all out at one time so that it's actually conscious effort for me to put it away rather than just get it done in that moment. Similarly to, you'll hear how people will, Millie is attacking me, sorry. So you will hear how people will set out their workout clothes in the morning, so that they are prepared for the next day, setting out even your shoes, even your keys, even getting your water bottle set up. If you are not a morning person, I totally feel you. I really believe that whatever I can get prepared for future Kaylee in the morning is really helpful for something that I can do at night to prepare for that next morning and make it easier on me. Similarly, if you're going to be maybe staying out late at night, that's something that when I was running events, I normally wouldn't get home until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would lay out my pajamas, lay out all of my, lay out my moisturizer and my cleanser and my toothbrush with toothpaste on it. This was before I had cats. And set out, a little snack, pull back my bed so that it was ready for me. Really just creating things, the easier you can make it on yourself to rather than, just change into your pajamas and go to sleep without washing your face, brushing your teeth, all of those things just because you're tired. Creating habits and creating cues so that it's easier for you to just do what you want to get done than ignore it and have to put it away later. Or put it away in that moment. So those are the techniques and hacks that I've found that have been really helpful for me to create habits and also get back into habits and routines like I am today. I hope that this may have been helpful for you, and if you have any other tips or tricks or hacks that you have used and that have been really helpful for you, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and until next time, enjoy celebrating today.